Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands. Yeah, 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 yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands, yeah. Yeah. Say I treat people nice. I treat people nice. I treat people nice. I treat people nice. Say I love myself. I love myself. Say I love myself. I love myself. Say I am so kind. I am so kind. Say I am so kind. I am so kind. I listen to my teacher. Listen to my teacher. My teacher loves me. My teacher loves me. Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands. Yeah, 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 yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands, yeah. Yeah. Say I am amazing. I am amazing. I always do my best. I always do my best. I follow expectations. My teacher loves me. My teacher loves me. Say I am the best. I am the best. I act like the best. I act like the best. Say I do my best. I do my best. I see the best. Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands. Yeah, 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 yeah. If you feel good, clap your hands, yeah. Yeah.
You got to unmute, Gloria. You still muted, honey.
Who?
Gloria.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, well, we will move on. And welcome to Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. That song, I Am the Best, that's the best affirmations by LaVon Bibb. I love getting started with that song. And today, oh, there we go. All right, we ready, Gloria. Hey, hey.
Well, thank you, Mr. DMB. You always ready to impromptu. Thank you.
I am the best.
Okay. Indeed, you are the best. So good afternoon. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. I am so happy on tonight because we have one of our favorite authors here, author Joyce Fields. I'm so happy to be here with Mr. Denby. Everybody knows Mr. Denby, and everybody loves Mr. Denby, of course. And then we also have Miss Jocelyn Jones. She is also here to this evening. So again, we just would like to say thank you very much for joining us all here on tonight. And author Joyce, the floor is all yours. The Zoom is all yours.
Hi, everybody. So today I'm going to talk about the limitless golden rule, 21 ways to use the golden rule in your life. Based on all the news and everything about racism and all of these ugly things that are going on, I really think we need to dust off the golden rule and put it into use. A lot of people don't even realize what the golden rule states. And my granddaughter, when I wrote this book, she asked me what the golden rule states. And she lived it. You know, I always brought them up to treat other people the way they want to be treated. And so I had already finished the manuscript, and I had to go back in and put the golden rule in on the first page. And the golden rule states, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If everybody, just about, you know, there's never going to be absolutes, but if most people really practice the golden rule, the world would be a better place. And so there's on YouTube, the new Golden Rule Challenge, 10/25/2021. Go there and join the Golden Rule Challenge. All you have to do is commit to using the Golden Rule on at least one person every single day. And that could be you. You can use the Golden Rule on yourself as well. And comment with the 2 words, I'm in. So you tell them that you're in on the challenge. And if you want to say more than 2 words, you can send an email to the Golden Rule Challenge at yahoo.com. So the Golden Rule will guide us all, everywhere we go, we can use the Golden Rule. So if people would just commit to using it, and every religion, every major religion in the world has some version of the Golden Rule. We've got Christianity, Confucianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, Taoism, and Rastafarianism. So every last one of them have some semblance of the Golden Rule in them. And then in the book, I state also that if most of the world's religions believe in some form of the Golden Rule, when will religious leaders and believers join forces and call on their flocks, family, and friends, and that's a whole lot of people, to start living the Golden Rule? I think that one of the ideas that came to me was, and I think Spirit always gives me these ideas, to approach churches, because I say it in the book. So, but if we teach children how to be kind and loving, and that's the song that you started out with. Everything in that song relates to the Golden Rule. So, therefore, if we do that, then there's a poem that I wrote called My Skin, Your Skin. And this relates to the Golden Rule as well. Red, black, brown, yellow, and white. We must treat all skin colors right. No color of skin is any better than mine, and I'll wear it with pride and grace. I'll be kind, I'll be fair, and I will make the world a better place. You can teach this poem to 5, 6-year-old children, and then they will learn it and they will live it as they're growing through these years. And then it will not be foreign to them. So, and it's a free download at goodshortbooks.com. So it's free. You can print it out. You can tape it to the child's book bag or put it in a frame and put it on the wall. You know, any number of things that you can do to teach this poem to the children and to teach the Golden Rule to the children. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And children are never too young to learn the Golden Rule. And even a newborn responds to love and affection and attention. That's the Golden Rule too. Everything in life, I think, is related to the Golden Rule. Any questions?
Miss Joyce, I'm glad you talked about that, because I was just thinking today about that scripture. We used to read it every Sunday in the church, Matthew, where it says, love the Lord your God with all of thy heart and your soul and with all your mind. And then the second commandment is likened unto it, love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's what I always believe in, teaching love and teaching about love. But, you know, a lot of people miss the part about loving yourself. They love,
Yes.
you know, you can't love your neighbor unless you love yourself. And sometimes what everybody think is love is not really love.
I know. So, but you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. That's where you learn love. And it just depends on how you are raised, you know, and also it takes a village. That's also true. And that's an African saying. And now it has been appropriated by the general public, but it's an African saying. It takes a village to raise a child. So even if your home life is not that great, and there were lots of cases, I'm a senior citizen now, so there were lots of cases like that when I was growing up. The home life wasn't that great, but the village supported the children.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's, you know, a lot of hate cases, there was like abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and all of that in the home. But when they come out, the teachers and their friends and all that were supportive. And in a lot of cases, everybody knew what was going on. But, you know, we were still supportive of the child or the children in some cases.
Yeah, I remember many years, my grandma's house used to be the house for all the kids to come.
Wow.
They would come spend the night, and they would, you know, my grandma would have to say, all right, it's time for y'all to go home. But came and flocked to our family because that's what we did. We were and accepting of others.
So you can totally relate to what I just said. Yeah. So, but that's the way it used to be. But I think that in the communities of color, I think that we can get it back. I don't really think that it really ever left, because it's in our hearts, it's in our spirits.
Yeah, it is. The thing is, I feel like a lot of the parents today, because of what you said about abuse and things like that, the parents have closed off from the village.
Yes.
You know, that kind of, you know, you don't talk to my child, you know. And nowadays, even though I'm a teacher, some days I'm scared to even say hey to the children when I see them in the store, because the village has been closed off like that, you know. And so that's one of the things we have to kind of look into, but you know, in opening yourself up.
So what kind of things can you do to open it up? You know, so I agree with what you just said. You know, it looks like it's been closed off, but I don't really think closed off. I think visually it's like it's been narrowed. Yeah. But it's still there. And all we have to do is more or less pry it back open. Yeah. Open it wider. Yeah. Yeah. So.
But it's going to come with a lot of people learning to love themselves, learning to trust themselves, because a lot of parents now probably don't trust themselves because it happened to them. And so, you know, I don't trust myself, and I don't trust my other people around my kids or around my family, because it has happened. But in learning to love yourself, that's why the most important part of that, not the most important part about loving your neighbor and loving yourself, is learning to love yourself. Yeah. You can learn to love your neighbor.
Who is that song by? Learning to love yourself is the greatest gift of all.
Oh, Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I believe the children are future.
And I totally believe that the children are our future.
Yeah.
That's
Jocelyn, I know you got something to say. Come on, unmute. This is a conversation, Jocelyn and Gloria. Let's just unmute and have the conversation, because I know y'all both bubbling over.
Yes, I mean, I enjoyed listening and just being present, listening to you and Miss Joyce. I think y'all made some really valid points. Um, just about do unto others, as they have to do unto you, and then talking about just the family structure. And I think because I'm gonna just speak for Atlanta. It has changed tremendously,
Mm,
and the do unto others, we were like the capital of southern hospitality, and so that was really the golden rule here in Georgia. I feel like we all looked out for each other, and I know for my neighborhood, my mama, I mean, our house was like your grandma house. Everybody came to our house. Everybody was there. My mom, she kept everybody kids and everything like that. So um but as years have changed, people's ideology has changed about family structure, about the family unit, about just community. It has totally changed, and then other people from other demographics have and other scopes about community and doing unto others and so forth. So that has
mhm,
also evolved and changed. And then you think about housing. you know it used to be when in the community, you living in your neighborhood, we had that that close knit. But now the ideology of community is about me, myself, and I and my family. It used to be when you hear the siren go down the street, you looking to see what's going on, or
mhm,
can I help my neighbor. But now you hear the siren go down the street, honey, it's just going down the street, that's it. People not
mhm.
helping each
Yeah.
other. They not helping each other. They just the siren going down the street. And nobody. So it's so many things that have just evolved and changed the idea of just the golden rule and looking out for each other, and are you my brother's keeper? So I think y'all really had some great points. And Ms. Joyce, I think you had, you know, created something that is definitely a conversation, a discussion that, that is something that need to be, really talked about and spoken of. So
Thank
this is
you.
great.
Thank you, Jocelyn. And I'm pleased. I want you all and spread the word. The new Golden Rule Challenge 10/25/2021. Search
That's
for
what I
that
wanted to get.
on YouTube. The new Golden Rule Challenge 10/25/2021. That's the date that I used for that. I created that challenge, and there's only, I think I have 12 people. I created it in October, but I'm still trying to get the word out. It doesn't cost you anything, but at the end of it, I do ask that I do tell the viewers, if you want a little help, go to goodshortbooks.com and order the Limitless Golden Rule, 21 ways to use the Golden Rule in your life. So I'm asking people to go to see the video and to commit to using the Golden Rule at least once a day on one person at least. And
And
how
say it
many?
one more time, Miss Joyce. The new
Okay,
Golden Rule Challenge.
10/25/2021. That's the,
My name is Joyce Smith.
yeah. So, and I put that on, right now, I think I've got about 12 people that are signed up, and they're all you have to do is just say, I'm in. Tell me I'm in. And then if you want to say more than those 2 words, send me an email at the Golden Rule Challenge at yahoo.com.
Okay.
I didn't put the new in there because I wanted to make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, if we use the Golden Rule, and I try to live by it. I treat people the way I want to be treated. When I go into the grocery store, I love white hair. Let me tell y'all, I just absolutely love white hair. My husband has white hair. We don't call each other husband and wife. It's Pap is his nickname. So we think that husband and wife bad connotations. So, but And we've been together, it'll be 55 years of marriage in June. So, but yeah. But so the golden rule, I can't even say enough about it. It's so simple. It's such a simple concept. Yeah, it would eliminate racism, sexism, homophobe, all of these things would be eliminated. And it's in the news now. Did y'all hear about this this Black NFL coach? He's the only, I think he's one of two. He quit, or he's filed a lawsuit against the NFL for racism.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you, anybody with any kind of sense will know that there's racism in every institution in America, every institution. The fact that the numbers speak for themselves. The NFL is 60 to 70% Black, but yet there are only, I think, 2 Black head coaches or general managers or something like that. So the numbers speak for themselves. That tells you that there's racism. Then they're getting ready to appoint a Black female Supreme Court justice. Now, for all of these hundreds of years, there has only been white men that have been Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
So what's, the Black woman would round it out. And they also need an Asian. So I don't know. But at any rate, I'll get off my rant. But I'm just convinced that if we use the golden rule, and I was telling y'all about in the grocery store, when I'm in the grocery store, I saw a couple, they were white. I don't care what color you are. If your hair is white, I'm gonna compliment you. So, and she was in the line and her husband was in line too, and they both had white hair. You know, I had a fit. So I said, I walked up to her, you ought to seen her look. Everybody that I say is to, they absolutely are startled that I compliment them. You're on their beautiful hair. And I'll compliment people on an outfit. I used to want to be a fashion designer. So if you're well put together, that outfit, I don't care where it came from, Saks Fifth Avenue or the Goodwill. If it's well put together, it's well put together. And I will compliment you. I will say, oh, I like the way you put that together. Oh, I like that outfit. I love those shoes. Because it's appealing to me.
Yeah.
Let them know. Doesn't cost you anything. And you might make their day. They may be carrying around tremendous burdens, and you compliment them, and that just eases their mind to some extent. So, compliment people when you go out and about. Yeah, so treat people the way you want them to treat you. That's my whole, I am too blessed to be stressed. That is my real, that's my reply to everybody that asks me. I'm too blessed to be stressed. And I actually live that. I don't deal with stress. I don't have a bad day. There's no such thing. You don't have bad days. It's just another day.
Yeah.
And stuff went wrong or didn't go like you thought it would, so no, but just your attitude, so. And you
Miss
gotta
Joyce,
pass that on to your
this is
children.
giving me life, honey. I'm telling you. Thank you for sharing this wisdom.
Oh wow, that's good.
And we need this kind of life. That's what I'm talking about. And I want to ask, like you said, you and your husband, y'all don't call each other husband and wife.
No.
And you said that's kind of negative. Can you go into that for us? Because we all single on here. Well, I ain't single, but they two single.
You know what? Y'all should get my book. The best way to keep a man is to let him go.
That's what we need to get.
It's only
for us, Mr. Denby.
I will.
It's 64 pages, and that includes 22 pages of my own recipes. Because the last chapter is the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And let me tell y'all, my Pap is my husband's name. So that's we call each other Pap and JJ. He usually calls me JJ. Well, what was I going to say? I was telling you, I lost my train of thought. So, but at any rate, he he doesn't, I'm trying to think of where I was going with that.
About why y'all don't call each other husband.
Okay. Well, to us, it has negative connotations. A wife acts a certain way and a husband acts a certain way. And we don't act those ways. So we don't call when I tell him, you acting like a husband, that's an insult. And if he tells me, you acting like a wife, that's an insult. Because typically wives are, I don't want to say naggers, but I just said it. But women, women can be a handful, and I'm one. So, but you women really have to stop and think about what they're going to say before they say it. Men do too, but to a greater extent, I think it's women, because this is based on my observations. I'll be 78 tomorrow. So,
Wow. Happy birthday to you.
yes,
Happy birthday
thank you.
to you.
I'll be 78 tomorrow. And let
Wow.
me tell you,
That's a blessing.
very much so.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
have aches and pains. I don't feel any differently than I felt when I was 28, 38, 48, 58, 68. Now I'll be 78. I
Wow.
don't feel any differently. I don't, if I couldn't feel any better if you paid me.
Mm,
So I've never had a headache in my life.
mm.
I don't have aches and pains. I'm a breast cancer survivor. It's been 10 years. I'm
Wow.
a stroke survivor. It's been 9 years. And when I was going through the breast cancer, I didn't have chemo. I had radiation and surgery. When I was going through that, my son, who is 51 years old, he said, "Mom, you went through breast cancer and you act like nothing happened." I felt like nothing had happened to me. I just wanted it out. So it was stage 2. It wasn't a drastic situation. So I just wanted it out. Then that was in August. I had the surgery of 2011. And I had radiation. Guess what date I had the radiation on? You ain't gonna never guess. 11/11/11 at 11 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that something? And then he said, "You had a stroke and you acted like nothing happened." I felt like nothing happened and then. So I was in the hospital and the doctor was testing my motor things, making me press against his hands and all of that stuff. And my speech was affected. I couldn't speak. So I was just saying, I literally remember that. I was like, when my sister got on the phone with me and my husband hardly ever came home for lunch from work. He came home for lunch that day. And my sister was talking to me and she said, "Give the phone to Pap." So I gave the phone to Pap and she told him, "Get her to the hospital. I think she's had a stroke." So I had the stroke the day before.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't know. I could not wake my husband up. I couldn't say anything. So finally, through will and the spirit helping me, I told him, I said, "Get up. You got to get up for work." And then he came home that day. The next day he came home for lunch. So I was having the stroke while I couldn't talk. I couldn't say, "Get up." And I didn't know I was having a stroke. I felt fine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but that is back to the reason why we don't call each other husband and wife, because typically husbands act in certain ways. It's really hard to explain. Like husbands will call their wives the wife. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how that's socialized or into men to call their women the wife. So, so yeah, I don't know what the wife is going to say about that. So what's her name? What I don't know what Mary is going to say about that. Give her okay. So and then wives have a tendency to be very critical because we're mothers as well. So we tend to want to mother our husbands. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't say husband and wife. I'll say it because of the conversation. So I'll say my husband. So then you'll know. But then I also say his name is Pap. His name is really Frederick, but his nickname is Pap.
Pap.
Yeah, P-A-P. So, but that's why we don't call each other husband and wife. If he says I'm acting like a wife, I'll straighten up and fly right real fast.
Well, thank you, Ms. Joyce, for this overview from the golden rules to
Yes.
how to get a man and keep him, and also giving us some words of wisdom. So I really appreciate this very
All
much.
right,
So,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Mrs. Timby is going to purchase our books too. Thank you.
Okay,
sure
so
will.
go to goodshortbooks.com. There are 11 nonfiction books there, and they're short. God blessed me and my sister. She wrote one, I wrote 10.
Oh, wow.
Bless me and her with the talent for being succinct. We can say a lot in a few words. You will love her book too. You like dogs, it's My 15 Dogs, a 55-year journey of love. I plug her stuff as well as I plug mine.
That's sweet. That is sweet. That is
Yeah.
sweet. Well, Miss Joyce, we really greatly appreciate you for being on here tonight with us. And you are definitely one of our favorites. We always have good conversation with you. We gain wisdom and just some
Oh, wonderful.
good homegrown, great conversation. So I really appreciate you for being here. I thank you for always supporting us. You support us all throughout the year, throughout our posts, through our comments. So I
Yeah.
just want to tell you that we appreciate you so much.
And I appreciate y'all too. So
Yes.
it's a two-way street.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the golden rule.
right.
That's right.
Everything is the golden rule.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
true.
And we get back on the golden road.
Yes. Join the Golden Rule Challenge. Go to that YouTube, watch it, and then commit to using it and comment, I'm in. And
Okay.
spread the word. Tell everybody you know
Okay.
to join this Golden Rule Challenge so we can make this world a better place.
Yeah, that's true. It starts with us, but sometimes
Yes.
so people be getting on our nerves. We got to be real, but
I know.
gotta be real. It's
But
be
you know
real.
what?
I know we on children's out. We gotta be real. Sometimes people get on the nerve.
But this what my whole thing is this. This too shall pass.
Woo.
This
Yeah.
too shall pass. That's my when we were just first married, we'd be arguing or having a heated discussion, is what I would say. And my husband Pap couldn't eat. He stopped eating. And I didn't miss a forkful. I just eat, while we having this discussion. So he was wondering how come I could eat. I said, this gonna pass. This ain't why I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We're gonna be all right in a few minutes or tomorrow.
Oh, I could eat. I know that real bit, Joy. Okay.
Yeah.
Sit there with cotton mouth if you want to. I'm finna eat this food.
Yeah.
I know that real.
Thank you.
I know that real.
We're gonna be all right.
Okay.
We've been together now 64 years. What makes us
Okay.
where you going? Where I'm going? Oh God.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
indeed.
funny.
All right.
That's some wisdom, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
Mhm.
That's it right now.
All right.
Yeah, so y'all get that book. The best way to keep a man is to let him go. I got 64 years with mine.
All right. Amen. I'm gonna get it for y'all.
Mhm. And look through all the rest of them. If
I will,
you
Miss
got
Jill.
any relatives that are raising children, I have one called Mother's Dozen, an easy recipe for raising great kids.
Mm.
And that tells you how to raise kids that are respectful, mannerable, independent, all of that. And it's
Oh, wow.
only 43 pages.
I might get this for some of my parents.
I know
Oh,
that's
yes,
right.
honey. It's not hard. It's not hard to raise a child who is respectful. And that's you raise a child who is respectful, mannerable, and all of that by being respectful and mannerable to that child.
Mm.
Right about
That's
it.
it. That's it.
That's how you teach. And you teach patience by making the child wait. These mothers nowadays, oh, if you're quiet, Johnny, I'll give you a cookie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no, Johnny, you're gonna be quiet, period. That's I don't.
I know that's real.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
I know
And
that's
you
real.
teach a child patience by making them wait.
Yes.
You tell a child, now I'll give you a cookie if you wait 5 minutes. So then you do 5 minutes. You'll wait 2 or 3. If depending on the age of the child. Too young, they gonna wait no 5-10 minutes. If they just a couple minutes. So and then give them the cookie, but teach the child that you'll get a cookie when I'm ready to give you the cookie.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
That's
I don't
right.
understand it. These kids nowadays, oh honey. I was in the beauty shop one day, and this was years ago, and this little boy was running around like a bat out of hell, just running. He was just really going at it. And let me tell you something. I gave him that grandma look. He sat his behind down.
I know that's real.
Yes. I gave him that look. I said, my God, what are you doing? Yeah. And he sat down.
Yes,
Oh
indeed.
my
No,
God.
I don't understand these mothers now. It's very easy, but you got to spend the time. It's an investment.
It
That's
is.
the
It
thing.
is. It is.
I always tell parents that when your child life starts, yours ends. You still be out in the streets and doing all of this stuff and trying to do your thing. You got to teach that baby.
Yes. Yes.
And be proactive. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That is the key. Being proactive in and guidance and discipline and so forth. It's some of these parents, they do something one time and think that's gonna be it. You can't. You have to keep going at it.
Yeah.
You have to keep going at it.
Yeah, so get the book, Mother's Dozen, an easy recipe for raising great kids. The foreword was written by Reverend Murray. I'm trying to get the book now. He wrote a positive. I mean, he wrote a foreword that just absolutely blew my mind. Do we have time?
Yes.
Okay. He wrote this foreword. Mother's Dozen is a handbook of excellence in raising children. It systematizes the rules passed from generation to generation regarding preparing children for the world to come. It involves tough love. It encompasses touchy-feely. It establishes fences that keep the wolf out and the sheep safe. It is common sense, the most uncommon thing in the world, particularly in this present age of negative imaging and self-raised rug rats. I'm not going to answer that. The quest is not for something new, but for something substantial. It is here. Every line brings an aha experience. The head nods yes, the will prods action. Well done, well done. That's what he says about Mother's Dozen. And it's only 48 pages.
Okay.
So, yeah, but it helps you, it tells you the ingredients for raising the children. Start from infancy, number 1. 2 is nanners. Number 3, love for learning. Number 4, teach them responsibility. Number 5, rules, order, and organization. Number 6, independence. Number 7, spirituality or a higher power. Number 8, affection. Number 9, discipline or self-control. Number 10, feed their interests. Number 11, obedience. And number 12, patience. And an easy recipe for rate. Those are the ingredients. And that's what I tell you in each chapter, how to do that. Raise a child to be independent, raise a child to be mannerable, raise a child to be organized. And my son right now, he's 51 years old. And I have to say, I did a fantastic job of mothering because I admire my own child. He is a magnificent human being. And he lives by the golden rule.
Amen.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I just went to the website. I don't think y'all can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all,
Yeah.
everybody out there in Facebook land, go ahead and go to that goodshortbooks.com.
Mhm.
Plenty books on there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And they're all good. And they're
We
all
might-
short.
We might need to get some, you might need to be a speaker at some of these schools and help our teachers, because the teachers could use that mother's dozen too. Because while the
Yeah.
kids in our classroom, it's almost like we raise them. So
I know. Isn't that the
that too.
truth? Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, I would have to do it virtually because I don't travel and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
the virus and all that. But
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want you. You
Yeah,
have
but
to come
if you
into the
can-
classroom.
yeah, if you can arrange it, I'll be more than happy to do it. And I have another thing called the anti-bullying pledge.
Okay.
And that's a free download. It's I pledge. You can go on the website to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the anti-bullying or bullying. It's a
Oh
tab on
yeah,
there.
I see that.
Mhm. Yeah, I have spoken at schools. I have actually gone to schools in years past to speak about that anti-bullying.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it's a download, and it can be printed and cut out and put on backpacks or taped to the mirror or wherever. But they have to pledge. They pledge all these things. I
yeah.
pledge to
I
not be a
pledge
bully.
not to be a bully.
Mhm.
I pledge to stop being a bully. I pledge to be kind to all. I pledge friendship to the bullied. I pledge to choose good over evil. I pledge to start or join a cyber friendship chain.
Yes. Yes. That's good. Thank you, Kyrie.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of things on there for children. And we've got children's books as well. The Vision, telling kids that they can make the world a better place. It's 48 pages. Jet Black and her 7 friends. That was my
Yeah, I
sister
remember
and
that
I.
one. You
Yeah,
read that
got
one
it.
last year.
Yeah, my sister and I were talking in the year 2000 about why we ain't got no fairy tales about little black kids. At that time, I didn't know that they even existed. I don't know if there were any. But then she came up with the idea, and I came up with the title. Jet Black and Her 7 Friends. It's based off of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Yeah, so, and Jet Black is a little black girl who is very tall for her age, and she gets teased constantly, and she doesn't want to go to school. So she goes to sleep one night and she gets taken on this magical journey. And her fairy godmother that takes her on the journey is Asian. It's all multi-ethnic. There's
Oh, yeah.
white, a black female judge who is overweight. And she says, they used to call me Fatty Patty. Now they call me Your Honor.
Mm.
So, and then there was a research assistant and all kinds of people that she met who all used to be teased, unbearably teased, but they suffered through it and prevailed, and now they are accomplished people. And there's a Native American too in there, and he says that they used to call me dumb Indian. So, but so then you know, it's really a good book for children. It's only 28 pages, and it was hand illustrated. Get this now, this is really God and the spirit world. I was at work, and I had finished Jet Black and Her 7 Friends, and I wanted to get it illustrated. And I was talking to this coworker of mine. Her name is Alice Malloy Chang, Asian. And she said to me, I have always wanted to illustrate a children's book. I said, whoa. So it's not COVID. So I said, really? So I gave her a few pages. She made Jet Black come to life.
Yeah.
Honest to God, that's the woo, she drew that girl. But now, and then, so Jet Black is taking on this journey. And then, where she meets all these people. And then you got to get the book to find out. Kyrie already knows what happens at the end of the book. It's a good ending. You like that ending, Kyrie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yeah, so those are the books, and I've got a book of quotes. A quote that I coined in 2013. It was chosen out of over 5,000 entries for 2013 Women's Calendar. And that quote I posted on social media a lot. It states, "It's better to die chasing a dream never caught than to die never having chased the dream." And I put that on to encourage people to don't allow other people to squash your dreams. Chase them. It's better to die chasing them than not to, you know, you be on your deathbed saying you wish you had done this, and no, you don't wish you had done it. You do it while you're alive and well.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, Miss Joyce, this has been like so thought-provoking. This has really been really good. I just know that, wow, that's all I can say. And I really greatly appreciate you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
definitely, we know we're going to see you again. So I'm so happy for you and all the wonderful things that you're doing. And wow, 11 books, that is phenomenal.
Yep.
That's phenomenal.
10. 11 on the website. I wrote 10.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Gloria.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
to goodshortbooks.com. You'll see them all. And
Yes.
the downloads too.
Okay. Well, we would like to say thank you everyone for joining us for day number 3 for the Great African American Read-In. I want to say thank you to Mr. Denby. Also, thank you, Miss Jocelyn Jones, and thank you very much for our amazing author on today, Miss Joyce Fields. So thank you all for all being here tonight. We greatly appreciate you, and we will see you on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are Children Island, where learning is a breeze. Have a wonderful afternoon. Actually, it's night over here, so maybe day somewhere else. Somewhere else.
Yeah.
Over here,
Yeah.
it's night. It's dark. All right. Y'all talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Be blessed.
You too.